Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna say is that I already showed you that I had all the destructors working in the previous video, and you said good job. So I'm not gonna talk about it in this video and just go straight to the recycling factories. So basically, in the terminal, I have a boolean that now says has external management, and that's of course if it has external management or not. And then it has um, a function pointer, which is called extfunc for external function. And it has two new methods, which is send to external manager, and then has external manager and set external manager. So there's three. Sorry. And the way I thought the best way to show it would be to just kind of show it immediately and go line by line. Um, but the first thing I'm going to show is that on creation, because I'm using the actual factories to initialize my scene, you can see that um, it's creating these new bombs, and then it's setting that external management. And all the external management actually does is just setting that it for that terminal that it does have a management, and then setting the function we sent in, which is that terminable recycling method, and then stores it for later, and deregisters from the terminal dumpster, because the act of setting external management means that we're no longer being internally managed, which is the termination dumpster. And then, as you can see, it only created them, so now we have to destroy them and actually see if they're recycling. And the way I have it checking is every time that I create something, it tells me how much are in the recycling bin, and there's 0 because they've all just been created. And now when it goes to processing those terminations, because it's marked for destroy when I have it hitting the bomb, the bucket. So if it has an external manager, then it's going to call its terminables send to external manager. And of course, I think maybe I've said this before, but it marks that it's marked for terminated equals to false. Assigns it to false, and that's just so that it doesn't get reinitialized as it's being marked for termination. So it won't just keep killing itself, pretty much. And then it gets that stored function and calls it with this terminable, and that should be the recycle bomb. Okay, so I just destroyed one, so there should still be 0 in the recycling bin. But remember, it only actually tells me when I create one. So I have a button, which is space, that just creates one of the recycling bombs. So it should tell me 1. And there it's created, so now we have 1 bomb. And now I'm going to destroy it. And if I create it, I should still have 1, because that's the only one. So there you go, 1. And if I destroy it again, and then a few more, I should have more in the recycling bin. So that should be 2, 3. If I start 1, it should be 3. And I also have it so that at the end, it's going to tell me how many the termination dumpster has destroyed. And because all the bombs are not internally managed, and only the floor and the bucket are internally managed, then it should say 2. I think it skipped it. Sorry about that. Let me just run it really fast again. Okay, so if I just escape, it should say that we only have 2 deleted objects. Okay, so now I wanted to show the actual demo I made. And in the demo game objects, I have a bomb, a bucket, floor, game controller, loose text, and all this. And basically, if I run the game, all it is basically it loads, and then I have to try to get these bombs, and I have to try to get 8 of them. And if I do get 8 of them, then I end up winning. it's a little laggy because of the video recorder. Sorry. I'm about to win. So there you go, win. And a lose would basically be if I don't get the next bomb within 10 seconds, then the bomb explodes and I die. And then it just takes me to the lose screen. So I'm just going to wait a bit for the bomb to actually, I guess, explode. It doesn't show the explosion, but it's just to show the changing in scene. And these lose and win screens are actually different scenes. And also, in the game, if you wanted to and you think you can handle it, then you can spawn another bomb, and so then you'd have to kind of try to get both of them within 10 seconds, and this lets you win faster. And you can keep spawning as many bombs as you want, so there's 3. Yeah, it's not the greatest game, obviously, but it gets the job done. So basically, I wanted to show all that I could. So there's like setting graphics models, setting alarms, setting the position, and then setting the world for the actual collision and graphics model. Then registering for collision. We also have the collision itself for a bucket, how to cancel alarms, how to destroy an object, deregistering on termination, which is very important, and then how to draw the actual object on the scene. And then if I go to the bucket, this is showing you how to do the updates, and the bucket is the main character pretty much. So as you can see, one of the things I created for the input manager is the is key press, and that's just the equivalent of the input mans, and just to see, it's probably better for character movement and stuff, so we have that here as an example. And then in the collision, we have a bomb and bucket, and then the other one's the bucket and the bomb, which I just showed you. We have the on terminate, destroy collision, draw, and then we have the callback for the input, which is just pressing down. In this case, I have it saying a recycling bomb, and this is just for an example. I should actually get rid of that. But yeah, it'll just create a bomb whenever you press space, and that just kind of shows the functionality. And then in the game controller, it either spawns bombs, goes to the win screen, or goes to the lose screen, and that just shows the user how to change scenes. And also, I've changed it so that you can see, you know, the new tutorial. Well, how to set the start scene, which is that tutorial level, the very first one, the actual game. And then how to load stuff. I'll get rid of the access, but really it's just the win-lose plane, the bomb and the bucket, and then the bomb texture and the bucket texture, and I think also the grid texture I've used. And it also shows you how to derive levels, and that's of course through the H files. So we have the tutorial level derived from the scene, and then the setup function, and then how to set up that setup function, and setting the collision pairs. It shows you multiple levels, and I think that's pretty much all the functionality that we had. Actually, it also tells you in the bucket, sorry, the bomb, it tells you how to register for updates, register for drawing, just in case if you need it. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for functionality. Okay, and then the last thing I want to talk about, which is kind of the structure of the overall document, not necessarily what's in it, but just the structure of it. So basically I have these modules, the API. I have separate things for the important things, like the game object, asset manager, and scenes. Game object, you have the default events, which is just drawing, terminate, etc. Important members, you register to draw, registering, setting the graphics object, deregistering collision, registering, deregistering for update, deregistering input, and then all the kind of callback functions. Then we have registering the alarms and setting and canceling an alarm, and then marking a game object for destroy. And then we have the getting the textures and loading of textures. We also have the creating a scene, setting initial scene, setting scenes collision and scene functions. And basically for each one of these, there's pretty much an example. Um, Not necessarily the most. They're kind of small chunks, but I think they really do help the player or the user. And then for like load models, I have it's saying like do it specifically here and stuff. I have various notes um, for very important things like the asset managers load game content. And then for like the scenes, creating a level, that's like pretty much a little tutorial of how to actually create a level. Then setting that level that you just created as the initial level, and then we have also the scene collision pairs. And then the scene function is just telling you like what the actual functions do, and that's pretty much it for the API. I think I think it's pretty extensive. I spent a pretty good while on it.